Hello dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Cambrian digital virtual class, Cambrian virtual class. This is Aman Sadikin, working as an assistant professor in Cambrian College, Chittagong. In our last class, we have studied right form verbs part 1. Today, we will study right form verbs part 2. Basically, these classes I have designed for you to show you some techniques that you can follow in detecting right form of verbs and correcting them. For example, you just have to remember the perfective forms. Whenever you see the perfective forms are what? Have, has, and had. Whenever you see this perfective form in a particular context, and there is another verb after that, just transform these verbs into past participle form. B3. We learned in our past class, B3 means past participle form. For example, and as a sentence for you, Roman has already. Roman has already. So there is the word has, the perfective form, and there is another word, another verb for you. The main verb here we can say, the problem verb we can say, do. We have to transform this verb into past participle form. Roman has already. So what can we write? Done the homework. Then there is another sentence for you. Raisa and Maisha have. The word have is placed before the word see, and according to my instruction, by my technique, or you can say the perfect, because there is perfective form just before the problem verb, you can transform this verb into past participle form. That means you have to write seen. Raisa and Maisha have seen me. And there is another example for you. Nimu had. There is the perfective form had just before the problem verb had. So problem verb is here make. So we have to transform this verb into past participle form. So what can we write then? We can write made. Nimu had made the cake for me. And then just another technique for you. Whenever you see the modal verbs, the modal auxiliaries, and then the be verb in the present form, as you know, modal auxiliary always takes the base form of the verb after that, and then the following verb should be in the past participle form. For example, here you see it can be. There is the word be, and the problem verb for you is say. What do you write then? You must write said. It can be said that we are not happy. We are not happy because be, because of the word be, you have to transform this word into past participle form. Another example for you. Children should be. Children should be. What can we write? You know, be, and then B3, that means past participle form. We can write taught. Children should be taught properly from early life. Clear? Another example for you. The homework must be. What can you write? There is the word be. That means the problem verb should be transformed into past participle form. We can write what? We can write done. Should be done before the deadline. Clear? I think it's clear to you now. Just write them down. Write the structure down in your notebook. And whenever you see being, you see the word being, and a verb is placed just after the word being. What did you write? Just have to transform the verb into past participle form. B3 means, as you know, past participle form. Forest are being. Forest are being. The verb in the bracket is turned in the base form B1. It is written as a base 1 or base form. We have to transform this verb into past participle form. What can we write then? We can write in the past participle form. That means forests are being turned into deserts. Another example for you again. We are being. We are being. The word in the bracket is asked in the base form. We have to transform in which form? You know it already. That is in the past participle form. We must write asked. We are being asked to perform our duties. And then again, they are being. I know you can easily correct it now. They are being. What do you write? Interrogated on the premises of the prison. Then there are some phrases that you just have to memorize, or you can read them for various times, then you can easily memorize them. There are some phrases that always takes the present participle form. What are they? See here. First of all, with a view to, look forward to, be accustomed to, be, that is am is or was or, subject to or object to, that is opposed to, be or get used to or contribute to. As we know, in our last class we have studied that after the word to, they are called infinitive, we use the base form of the verb. But these phrases are exceptions. These phrases are exceptions. They always makes the following verb into the present participle form, that is verb plus ing. Verb plus ing. Whenever you see these phrases with a view to, with a view to, in Bangla we can say uddeshye, look forward to, protyashai. You can write in Bangla too, because our native language is Bangla. Be accustomed to, well, you usually refers to be accustomed to means used to, actually অভ্যাস বোঝাই, অভ্যস্ত বোঝায়, সাবজেক্ট টু কোনো বিষয় হয়ে দাঁড়িয়েছে, এটা অবজেক্ট টু, অপোজ টু, কোনো বিরোধিতা করাই অর্থে ইউজ করা হয়। দেন you see be or get used to, এটা অভ্যাস বোঝায়। So there is a difference between you see for you whenever used to and be used to. For example, I used to play football, but if I write this way, I am used to playing cricket. What do you see? I used to play football. Just the phrase used to takes the base form of the verb, to play base form. But whenever I have been using a be verb just before the used to, but before the phrase used to, that is am, is or was or, I have been transforming the following verb into present participle form, ing করে দিচ্ছি। So you can এটা টেকনিকটা মনে রাখতে পারো if you can, and then contribute to etc. And you just remember that after these phrases the following verbs should be in the present participle form. Present participle form means verb plus ing. I have given two examples for you. He teaches his students. He teaches his students with a view to, with a view to. Basically, to always takes the base form, to makes the following verb into the base form. But whenever you see this phrase with a view to, just transform the verb into present participle form. That means he teaches his students with a view to giving them the light of education. Similarly, the following sentence, I am used to. I am used to. What can you write? I know it now. We can write playing cricket in the evening. আমি সন্ধ্যায় ক্রিকেট খেলতে অভ্যস্ত। Then there is another technique that you can follow whenever you are asked to detect problems and write the correct form of the verb. Whenever you see last, the word last, the following forms can be remembered by you. You can try to remember them. You can try to memorize. You can memorize them. There is last, and the subject can be noun. There is bracket eta bolte cheyechi. The subject can be noun or the subject can be pronoun. The following word here, the modal should, it can take should, it could be might, and the following verb should be in the base form. As you know, modal verbs, after the modal verbs এর পরের অংশটা যে ভাবটা আমরা ইউজ করি, it should be in the base form. For example, the students must be careful in their studies. Lest, what can we write? Lest, as you know, subject is here, there, subject is there. This is the subject, this one is the subject. What can we write? We write there should, or we can write there might. What did we write? The base form of the verb fail to secure good marks. অর্থটা কি হয় এটা একটু দেখো তো। লেস্ট আমরা বাংলা বলি পাছে বা না হলে। স্টুডেন্টস বি কেয়ারফুল ইন মাস্ট বি কেয়ারফুল ইন দেয়ার স্টাডিজ। শিক্ষার্থীরা তাদের পড়াশোনায় অনেক সতর্ক হতে হবে, দরকার, না হলে তারা ভালো মার্কস পাবে না। ক্লিয়ার? সো শুড এবং মাইট এটা জাস্ট মনে রাখো। এন্ড দেন দ্য নেক্সট ওয়ান, রশিদ ওয়াকড ফাস্ট last he. What can you write? Help me. Yes, I know you know it now. Last he should, or we can write he might. So the base form of the verb means the class. Rashid walked fast, lest he should means the class, or he might means the class. I can it may be helpful for you now. Just write them down, write the structures, write some of the techniques that I have been showing you. And then for you, if there is clauses like it is time, it is high time, it is time or it is high time. It is time in Bangla আমরা বলি এখনই সময়। সো আমি এটা পছন্দ করি যে এটা we can write it in our native language, এখনই সময়। It is high time, actually এটা আমরা বাংলায় বলি এখনই উপযুক্ত সময়, উপযুক্ত সময়। So not much differences between two clauses here. It is time or it is high time. It is high time means it is the perfect time. The following clause would be the subject could be noun, subject could be the pronoun. You must use the simple past form or past indefinite form of the verb, that is be2. We learned it in our first class, right? Example dekho, it is high time, it is high time. What can you write? Can you write given? No. Give? No. We must write the simple past form of the verb, that is gave. It is a high time you gave up smoking. Clear? Another example for you. It is time. It is time. She. The problem verb for you is a start in the bracket. So what can you write here? It is time. She, in the simple past form of the word start, is started. It is time she started studying for the exam. তার মানে বাংলাটা কি হয় খেয়াল করো তো, তার পড়াশোনা পরীক্ষার জন্য পড়াশোনা করার এখনই সময়, that is this is the perfect time for her to study for the exam. Clear? I think it's clear to you now. And then some phrases, I have put some phrases for you. First one is as if, second one is as though. Meaning টা একটু দেখে রাখো বাংলা, in Bangla. In Bangla we say যেন, just remember it, যেন, as if, or as though since এটা এখানে কনজুগেটিভ ইউজ করা হয়েছে দ্যাট ইজ এটা টাইম রেফার করছে এটাও আমরা एग्जांपल দেখব দেখে রাখো জাস্ট মনে রাখো the first clause if the first clause in the present form v1 that is present form simple present এ আসতে পারে present tense present indefinite the following the clause after the as if the what as if এটা একটা কানেক্টর হিসেবে কাজ করতেছে so you must use the simple past form or past indefinite form of the verb for example example টা একটু পরে আসবে wait and then again you see as if or as though that means since the first clause if the first clause in the simple past form that is past indefinite the following clause must be in the past perfect form. See the example here. He talks. এটা কোন ফর্মে আছে? In the base form. He talks as if. As you know from the structure that we have to transform it into the V2. V2 means simple past form. So what can you write? He talks as if he knew everything. Right? Here you see, you have to transform the verb into the simple past form. Again, another example for you. He talked. The verb is in the simple past form. He talked as though or as if, we can say as if or as though he, B2 and this form should be in the past participle form. And participle perfect নিয়ে যেতে হবে, that means what? He had known everything. He had known everything. I think it's clear to you now, right? He talked as though he had known everything. There is another example then I can write for you, same structure that you can follow. We can write, it is a long time. Here you see, it is a long time. The clause is in the present tense, right? It is a long time, present tense, and there is a connector for you, since. It refers to time, since. So what can we write? The following clause should be in the simple past form. That means we can write, it is a long time we went home. Here you see the verb in the simple past form, the following clause in the past form. It is a long time since we went home. মানে বাড়ি গিয়েছি অনেক দিন হয়েছে, বাড়ি গিয়েছিলাম অনেক দিন হয়েছে, এটা বোঝাচ্ছে। Similarly, if I wrote it was a long time, it was a long time. তো can we write went here? আমরা কি went লিখতে পারবো আর এখানে? No, we can't write went here anymore. We have to write what? We have to write we had gone home. Clear? Just remember the structures. It can help you. It can help you a lot. All right. These are the techniques or tactics I can say that you may follow, and I hope it will help you a lot in detecting correct form of the verbs and correcting them according to the rules. So some exercises for you. Some sentences I have put some sentences for you from various college questions, board questions. এমনি লাইন আকারে দিয়েছি এখানে, you can try. প্রথমটা আমি তোমাদের জন্য একটু করে দিই, দেখো তো। সো আমি প্রিভিয়াস ক্লাসটাও এখানে একটু আনবো হালকা করে। Here you see, here the problem for you is B. Here the problem for you is B. Here কি বলেছিলাম in our last class? বলেছিলাম যে just try to understand, figure out the tone. সো এটা ডিসক্রিপশন বোঝাচ্ছে, বাতাসের কথা বলা হচ্ছে বা বায়ুর কথা বলা হচ্ছে, তাহলে আমরা কি লিখতে পারি? Definitely in the present form. Air is an important element of the environment, but it is constantly being. আমরা being পেলাম, there are being. So what can you write? The verb should be transformed into past participle form, that means polluted in many ways. So, I think you can take a screenshot here, or you can write them down, write down, and you can comment, or you can write on the comment box and show me whether you are following me properly, or you can correcting yourself properly. So, that's all. I will advise you, or I will suggest you to make mistakes, because I myself believe that we can certainly learn through mistakes. Mistakes are there. We human beings make a lot of mistakes in our life. No problem. Just try to solve some problems. You can make mistake, no problem. You can recover it with the time, with pieces of time. So that's all. May Allah bless you all. Be happy. Allah Hafiz.